agencies, entities, universities, our university, and I just want to really just thank everyone for taking the time to be here today for this, I would say symbolic signing, but it's more than symbolic, it's substantive. This is a real agreement that represents a real commitment on the part of all the entities, and so many people have put an effort in to get this agreement, this project, to this point today. So, it's kind of a real day. It's not just, you know, where they sign with different color ink and pen. I know in the not seated at the table, though, are members of the City Council who labored on behalf of certainly their or our collective constituencies over nuances of this, made sure that it got to the point where we could have it passed by the City Council, and so I could sign it. And I don't know if you all just, if you could just step forward, so we could, I'd just like to introduce, and I know Anthony's here, John's here, Anita's here, somebody,
Denise.
I saw you walk by. So we almost have a quorum of the City Council. And before I even start with anybody want to say anything about what you think about this, or the city being a part of this, and whether it's a good thing or bad thing? John, I see a little smile on your face. So.
I've been a part of this committee from the beginning, and when we first started there, I think the PSEG, excuse me, last year when they did not get the award for us as a committee, we were debating whether we're going to stop or continue, but we just chugged forward and forward and forward, and to this day we're finally here. But I would like to just get off path just for one quick second here. I was down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina about 2 weeks ago, a small town called Conway, and there was a coal burning plant, and guess what? It's gone. I couldn't believe that plant has been a fixture down there for 70, 80 years, and when I rode by there a couple weeks ago and I just happened to look over there, and it's a big empty field now. So it can also happen in Bridgeport as well, and we're all glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
I'm just going to say this and sit down and ask anybody else if they want to say a couple of words. But you know, it's interesting. You mentioned about the there's a lot of real positives on this. I think anytime you have an agreement with that involves, in this case, city government, and you have you know, private entities, private investment, and then you have groups that represent so many important, I don't want to say interest groups, but so many different voices that sometimes are hard to find it hard to fit into an equation where they can be heard and can actually come away with something to make a difference in fostering benefit to the entire community. You have a real positive synergy, and that's what this is about. That's one piece of it. Then you have, you know, the huge investment. You have the transition you talked about from coal burning now to a much cleaner energy source, but in a modernization. And I think it was David Corris earlier we were talking about. I talked about my other life as mayor. He wasn't here, but when we talked about developing and we looked at Bridgeport's waterfront, frankly, we couldn't even imagine. You'd have once in a while, you'd have somebody kind of say, yeah, and at some point maybe the coal plant won't be there anymore. And you know, when we were developing steel, the first visions of what Steel Point might start to look like, or some of the other projects. And now I know, you know, I'm much older now, but you know, things start to, if you move forward enough, at some point that will is actually on the horizon. Interesting perspective. So I want to say thank you to all the entities. I want to thank you to PSEG for stepping up and playing the role that they play, and the enhanced role that they play, and to including everybody in this. And I can stop there. I'm going to go around the table and see if you. I'm going to keep mine brief, but please.
I'm Mark Strickland from PSEG Connecticut, and on behalf of PSEG, I want to thank the mayor and his staff, the city council, the Citizens Advisory Group, and the community and environmental groups that participated in this process for more than a year. So more than a year of hard work to get to this moment. I think this agreement solidifies an already strong relationship with the city and these groups, and we look forward to making Bridgeport a better place. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Before Neil says a couple words, we spent a lot of time together, enjoying a lot of the hard work, mostly in human beings and brains that they're developing at the University of Bridgeport, but also this recently, in a couple days, in UB and Bridgeport's vision to a certain extent of what can happen, let's just say in the South End, centered certainly around the great progress that you're making under your leadership that you've done for decades now, at least, right? Don't tell me how long.
Longer than I remember.
And interestingly, at the same time, you see this other huge positive dynamic step off, along with other things, as we talk about federal government stepping up with money, but some real vision and leadership by the university. Thank you for that role that you continue to play and the role here. And Neil, Mr. President, say
Just a word, Neil Salonen from the University of Bridgeport. We're very proud to be part of this. We've had Vice President George Estrada with the Citizens Committee for the last year. The leadership of the city and the warm relationship with PSEG has really been important. We know we went off the grid by establishing a fuel cell at the university. We've been happy to be part of every possible improvement that is realistically available to make the environment better, to make the cost of energy less, and to also make it more available. This is a gigantic step in that direction. We support it wholeheartedly.
thanks so much. Thanks.